Welcome to the Geelong Business Excellence Awards. I'd like to acknowledge the Wathaurong traditional owners of the land of which we're gathered here today virtually, and all Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander people who are part of the Greater Geelong community, and I pay our respects to our elders past, present and emerging. Congratulations to all of our finalists of the Geelong Business Excellence Awards. I would like to acknowledge our major sponsor, LBW. In particular, please welcome Simon Flowers, who is the principal of LBW and also our chair of judging. I would also like to acknowledge our category sponsors and that are on the screen, and also our award partners as well. Today, we will be going through the site visit information, tips from our chair, a little bit about the finalist promotion. I'll remind everyone about the After 5 event that's coming up, the big presentation event, and also some key dates to put in your diary as well. As mentioned before, congratulations to all the finalists. This is a huge testament of being clever, creative and connected. Not all of our entrants have made it to be a finalist, so it's an absolutely huge accomplishment. I am now going to introduce Simon, who is going to run through the site visit information. And I really encourage you to type in your questions in the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. And there is a section of this presentation where we will address all the questions. So Simon, over to you.
Thanks, Tennille. So congratulations on everyone achieving finalists for the awards for this year. So you already know that 50% of your written entry counts towards your final entry. And your final score. So the site visits provide you an opportunity to present again to the judges, and this represents the final 50% of your final score. So there's a minimum of 2 judges that will be attendance. Some businesses will receive 3, and typically that includes me. I'm actually not there to test you guys. I'm actually there to test the judges to make sure that they're judging appropriately that I want them to judge. So don't be scared if I turn up. It's just an opportunity for me to hear about your business as well as the judges. So the thing about the site visit, it's all about providing evidence of what's in your written entry. So we know that we limit the number of words that you can put in the written entry to 2,500. So we know that you're not going to be able to fit everything in there that you want. And also we know that you can't explain everything that you need to. So this is about expanding on the information in your written entry and providing some evidence and other support and other things. So the judges are generally advocates of your business. So when they turn up after your site visit and they go to the judges meeting, they are there to advocate for you to win. They are generally interested in your business. They understand that you may be nervous, but ultimately, when they turn up, they want to hear about your business. They want to go through the written entry and they want to learn more about your business. When they turn up, they'll essentially issue some initial rules in relation to how the visit occurs and what you need to do. They'll ask about when you want questions and a whole range of different things. But ultimately, the 90 minutes that you get to present to the judges is your time to talk to the judges about your written entry. There's numerous ways of doing visits. Over the last couple of years, we've seen a fair few different alternatives and there is no winning way of doing a site visit. So it's whatever makes you the most comfortable in presentations to the judges, whether it's PowerPoints, whether it's questions at the end, whether it's questions throughout, whatever the case may be, you can do it, whatever makes you easier to do it to the judges. You obviously, the last point there was to address the criteria in 1 to 5. Judges sometimes can be easily confused. So let's start at 1 and let's move to 5 and go through that. If we go back a slide and we go back to the time structure, so you have 90 minutes to actually do your presentation. We recommend that you spend 60 or 70 minutes presenting the 1 to 5 criteria to the judges. There is obviously opportunity, if relevant, to do a workplace tour. I might provide a couple of examples that I've seen over my sort of 14 years of doing this. Is that we had a presentation that I attended for an outright winner of Business of the Year several years ago now. They had a big site, so they did a 5-minute video of their site. So they didn't actually take us around the site, they just showed us a 5-minute video. But I've also been on the other hand that someone has taken us around their site for 45 minutes. Now, if you do that, you're really cutting down the time that you can actually talk about your 1 to 5 criteria. So the judges are more interested in learning about and expanding on the 1 to 5 criteria than a 45-minute site visit. Okay, so don't waste your time showing us around sites. If you want to show us a piece of equipment or a building or whatever the case may be, you can do it through pictures, you can do it through videos, or you can quickly show us it and then get back. Always leave an opportunity for the judges. If you're going to do a PowerPoint slide, always leave them 10 minutes at the end so they can ask all the questions that need to ask you. The asking of the questions is there to try and beef up your mark because they haven't got the full story yet. Okay, so they're asking questions not to try and catch you out. They're asking questions to try and develop an answer that they want to hear. Okay, so the time structure, make sure you plan the time, make sure that you time it so that you know that you're going to finish within the full 90 minutes. Because the judges will tell you at the start, they will walk out at 90 minutes because it's not fair on anyone else if you get extra time. Go to the next slide. It's all about the different criteria. So again, address the criteria in the order of 1 to 5. Business achievements, marketing, customer service, people and culture and finance. You've already provided your answers in the written entry. Make sure that you are expanding on anything that you haven't expanded on. Add in the stuff that you haven't been able to add in. Show us the stuff that you haven't been able to show us, whether it be your website, whether it be marketing material, whether it be marketing plans, whatever the case may be. But also make sure when you're doing your 5 criteria, make sure you're covering off on those other aspects within the question. So question 1 talks about your achievements. Make sure you also cover off on the aspects of innovation and sustainability. Okay, so those sort of things you need to cover off on as well. The judges may write notes and some may not. So each judge is different. They do it different ways, but don't be concerned if they're writing notes or not writing notes. One thing I always say is Google the judges, find out what area they practice in, what sort of business do they have, and try and get an idea of what they actually do from a day-to-day point of view, because that may help you from answering the criteria and providing the site visit. Next slide is so the period of time that we're talking about here is as in your written entry, 1st of April 21 through to 31st of May 22. If it's outside that period, happy to hear about it, but it technically won't count towards any extra marks because it's outside the period, except for the first question, which talks about the last 3 years of your business achievements. So it goes from 1st of April 19 through to 31st of May 22. Okay, chair's tips. I've got several more than what's on these slides. Obviously the things on the slides is obviously brainstorm with your team how to showcase your business. Part of that is also, you can actually use your staff to present part of the presentation. So that's always good to give you a chop out. Obviously 90 minutes is a lot of talking. So sometimes it's great to share the load from that point of view. Obviously practice your presentation, make sure you time it. Make sure you don't run out of time. We'd hate a situation, and businesses have done this. And it's really disappointing when I actually attend the businesses because they run out of the last question, which is finance, which is clearly my favorite question. So make sure you time it, make sure you give every criteria the same amount of time. If using slides, keep it simple, avoid too many words when presenting, try not to use your notes, or you can, it depends on how proficient you are in speaking. Use the evidence when presenting. If you wish to win a particular category, make sure that you give it your best shot to demonstrate why you should be the winner. So for example, if you're trying to win sustainability, then you may beef up the time you spend on question 1. If you're trying to win customer service, then again, try and beef up that part of it. So it depends what you're trying to go for and what you're trying to win. So the other thing we talked about, using staff. Sometimes some presentations, they've locked us in a room with a couple of their staff and given us free run with the staff in relation to people and culture. And we've asked them questions about your business and why you work there and that sort of stuff. You can use clients. Problem with using clients is that sometimes it's hard to tell a client to shut up and stop talking. So make sure that you've got them on a leash, or you do a short video of them about why the client works with you. We don't look at your website when we do the marking of the written entry. So this is an opportunity for you to provide us with your website if you're super proud of it and want us to show it. Every criteria is equal marks, so make sure you spread it amongst those. The extra information at the site visit we've already talked about. And the final thing is that the judges, it may be the first visit of the day for the judges, or it might be the last visit of the day for the judges. So, Tim Tams and coffee is okay from a judge's point of view. Sometimes we get questions about, can judges take away products? I think the policy is that if the product or the promo is immaterial, then happy to accept it, depending on whether the judges want it or not. So there's some tips. There is no right or wrong way of presenting. It's a matter of what makes you feel most comfortable, because when you're comfortable, then you're more comfortable to provide all the answers to the judges. And if there's any questions, happy to answer those.
Now, just a reminder to everyone, if you do have a question, please use the Q&A function. But while we're waiting, Simon, I do have a question regarding the site visit. One of the finalists has asked, can you do the tour first and then present the 5 criteria instead of doing the tour after the 5 criteria?
Yeah, it's the 90 minutes is your time. So I think most people do the tour at the start, and then sit down and work through the 5 criteria. So the point is just trying to limit the tour to, you know, a 5 or 10 minutes, because we're more interested in finding out about your entry in the business rather than the actual tour. Some people, it doesn't really matter because they might just be in an office, or they work from home. You know, we don't necessarily need to see a tour, but if you're super proud of, you know, a printer or a photocopier, or you know, a piece of machinery, or your general office, happy to do a 5-10 minute walk around, and just get an idea of how big it is, or whatever the case may be. So whatever suits the business.
Great. So Simon, one of the question is, when demonstrating business growth, how do we provide evidence for this? Is a graph sufficient of revenue, or do you need to see business accounting software?
No, we don't need to see actual software or actual data. We're quite happy to see growth from a graph point of view. We are basically taking your word that you're providing us with the correct data. Yeah, graphs is fine.
Can you please expand on what financial information the judges will need?
Financial information. So is that in relation to question 5?
Yep, that would be the financial criteria question.
Yeah, so question 5 just talks about your financial management skills. So we don't necessarily need to see, and I don't necessarily need to see a cash flow budget, but if you waved one at me and said, here's my cash flow budget, then I'm saying, well, that's great, you've got a cash flow budget. I don't need to look at the cash flow budget and determine exactly where you're short, or you know, how good it is. So we're just after your ability to provide financial management skills within your business. So if you say that you look at your WIP, you look at your billings, your creditors, your debtors, all that sort of stuff. If you've got a folder of all your financials that you meet with your accountant on a monthly basis, or bookkeeper, then show us the folder. Yeah, we're not going to delve into looking at your financial data itself.
Great. The next question, Simon, is, when do finalists find out what awards they are finalists in? I'll leave that one to you, but yeah.
Thanks, Danielle. So we actually determine that after the site visit. So you actually won't find out until very close to the presentation night. Is the short answer on that one.
Right. The next question, do all sections need to be addressed? Can sections be eliminated if it's irrelevant?
No, all sections need to be addressed. So I give the example that if you're not trying to win sustainability, but you still need to mention sustainability when you're covering off on question 1. So even if it's, you know, changing light bulbs, photocopiers turned off, screens turned off, whatever the case may be, you still need to mention it. So it's the same rules as we provide in the written entry. You still need to mention it even if you're not trying to win it.
Excellent. The next question is from David. He said your presentation is informative. In previous years, we've been lucky enough to know which categories after the site visit we've been shortlisted for. Will this be the case, or will we be just waiting till the evening? You have actually answered that. So David, you will find out on the night which categories you're shortlisted for. The next question, will or could we be told which criteria from our written entry is strongest, so that we have an insight into which areas to focus on if we're wanting to win a particular criteria or award?
No, we don't. We provide you with a critique after the awards night. So we don't actually tell you after the written entry what you need to improve on or what you are strongest in. So that comes after the presentation night. You'll get a critique that'll have 3 positives, 3 constructives, plus your scores that you've got, and that's what you get after the presentation night.
Okay, the next question, I was nominated for a category, but it's not included on the GBEA website. Do I still pitch for that category? Maxine, all the categories are listed on the website, so I will give you a call after this session just to talk about that particular question, if that's all right. Are there any other questions at all? The next question is, are site visit dates movable if needed? It would have to be under very exceptional circumstances that a site visit would need to be moved. As you can appreciate, we have to coordinate diaries for 2, sometimes 3 judges, and they are visiting certain areas, like on some days they're visiting Lara or Avalon and so forth. So it's very difficult to move, but it'd have to be very exceptional circumstances that we can do that, but we will answer those questions case by case. Vivian has asked, will we know the names of the judges attending prior to the visit or when they arrive? Yes, absolutely. My colleague Kathy will be contacting and sending meeting calendar invites for your site visits. And in those calendar invites, we will let you know who the judges are and their names. Are there any other questions at all? I just received a comment that not all the finalist business names beginning with D and E were tagged in our social media post. Thank you for letting me know. I will go back to our social media person and look at that. So thank you. And I'll wait a little bit longer. When do we find out the dates of the site visits? That will be this week. We're making lots of phone calls at the moment to lock them in. You'll find out this week. Is the site visit date negotiated with the application or just given? Maxine, it will be just given. As I mentioned earlier, it is quite a task to organise site visits for 63 finalists this year, but we will get to you as soon as possible. Okay, well, what I might do is move on to the next slide. There will be other opportunities to ask questions, so please keep asking them and we will make sure that we get to them at the end of the presentation. Okay, so you should have received your finalist tile that you can share on social media to announce to everyone or your family, your colleagues, your stakeholders that you are a finalist of the awards. Be proud of it, spread the news. It's been very exciting to see that our finalists have been doing that. And we thank you for tagging the Geelong Business Excellence Awards. We would love you, if possible, to put together some video content for us or even an image and share your excitement about being a finalist of the awards. Maybe you could share some content about your business and what you do and what it means to you to be a finalist. After this session today, I'll send you through a brief of what we're looking for. And if you can post that through your channels and tag the Geelong Business Excellence Awards, we will definitely share that content through our platform as well. It's just a great way to promote the awards and most importantly, to promote you as a finalist as well. Between now and October, there will be many PR opportunities, whether that be a radio interview or through the newspaper. I will be randomly choosing finalists to participate in some of those opportunities. It is definitely random. I'm not personally involved in the judging process. So please don't be disheartened if you're not asked. It doesn't mean anything. It's purely because we're looking for a certain angle. And yeah, if you do receive a call from me, please let me know if you can participate. There will also be opportunities for some of our finalists to participate in some interviews that we'll be using for the night of the awards as well. I'll move on to the next question. Well, the next slide, I should say. The After 5 networking event is on the 18th of August, and thank you to LBW for sponsoring this event. So this event is normally just for members of the Geelong Chamber of Commerce, but this year we have a particular focus on celebrating the finalists of the Geelong Business Excellence Awards. So you'll get to meet each other, we get to acknowledge you, and it will be a great way to network with some of our members as well. The RSVP date was actually yesterday, so if you haven't RSVP'd, please do so today. I have sent you some information about the actual event. So the presentation event will be on the 27th of October. We do have a discount there for any tables of 10. I do encourage you to purchase your tickets as soon as possible. It's great to see that many of our finalists have already bought tables to the event. So thank you very, very much. I'll move on to the next slide. So some key dates to put in your diaries. So the site visits will start from the 15th of August to the 14th of September. As I mentioned before, our After 5 event is on the 18th of August. And another one to put in your diary is on the 13th of October from 2 to 3:30. We'll have another online information session, but this time it will be actually on the awards presentation event. So it's just to give you a bit of a brief on what to prepare for, preparing for your winner's speech, the logistics on the night, and so forth. The presentation event, as you know, is on the 27th of October from 6 to 10:30, and we also have an after party, straight after, and that will be at GBEA Stadium as well. And if you are a winner of the awards for this year, we're also having a celebration evening on the 9th of November from 5:30 to 7. So please put that one in your diary as well, should you be a winner. Okay, so I'll open it up to questions. And one of the questions I have, is there a LinkedIn size finalist tile available? Lee, yes, I'll make sure that we can make that available and share that out to all the finalists. So thank you for that. The next question, if you're successful in winning an award, when and do the details of the person accepting the award need to be provided by and who to? Okay, so if you're successful in winning an award, do the details of the person accepting the award need to be provided by and who? Sorry, I had to repeat that question to understand it. So if you're announced as a winner of the award, when you first completed your application, you did let us know the name of the person who will be accepting your award. So if the person that you put on your original application has changed, can you please email gbea@geelongchamber.com.au and let us know as soon as possible. So we would need to know the name of the person and their job title, and also their contact phone number as well. If it hasn't changed, you don't need to contact us because we obviously already have that information. I'll just wait a little longer to see if there's any other questions. Simon, I do have a question regarding a sole trader. If they don't have a office, etc., to present, what's your recommendation there?
We've had, if you're a sole trader and you don't have an office, we can do it in a variety of different ways that we've done in the past. So sometimes people are happy to have us at your home. Otherwise, you can do it at a cafe, or you can do it at the chamber offices, and do it there. So it's wherever you can do it is fine by us.
Excellent. And Lee, the question is, if you don't purchase a table, are ticket seats randomly assigned at the event? The answer to that is yes. If you purchase 1 or 2 tickets, you can certainly put a preference in, but it can't be guaranteed, but it will be randomly selected. Okay, Simon, is there anything else that you would like to comment on at all?
No, all I can say is that all the judges are very friendly people. Don't be scared of them. They're there to learn about your business and try and advocate for you to win an award. So if you just want the presentation to be a nice general conversation between you and the judges, you can do it that way. Otherwise, people have done PowerPoint slides, or you can do it as whichever way you want. But the judges are there to be they're definitely interested in finding about your business. So don't be scared, don't be nervous. We're just there to listen to your story.
Thank you. David has shared a tip. Thank you, David. If a judge asks a similar question twice, they're trying to emphasize to you or help you regarding the criteria. So yep. I thought that was a good point. Simon, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, the judges are trying to ask questions so that they can tick things off. So if you haven't answered anything about sustainability, you would expect that the judges would ask a question about sustainability because they want to tick things off. If the judges see that you're are going to finish within half an hour, they're going to bombard you with questions. So because they want you to answer and get the highest mark possible. So the judges can shut up until the end, or they can ask you throughout. But at the end of the day, it's your 90 minutes. If you think that the judges are holding you back, or they're asking too many questions, or whatever the case may be, because you need to finish, make sure that you tell them that's the way that you want the presentation to go.
Okay, thank you, Simon. Does randomly selected seat mean if you purchase 4 tickets will be split across the venue? No, absolutely not. And thank you for the question. So if you purchase 4 tickets, then you will be seated together. However, if you just purchase 1 ticket and there's no other people attending from your organisation, if they've purchased separately, then you will be randomly seated. Thank you for the questions.
If you do want to be split up, I'm sure that the chamber can split you up.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. You may walk away from this presentation and have many questions afterwards, and that's okay. We're always here to help you. So our number is 5222 2234, or you can email the GBEA email address. And most of you, all of you, should have my mobile number as well. I would like to thank you so much for your time, and thank you for all your time and effort to be part of the program. And thank you, Simon, for your time today to answer those questions.
No problems. Looking forward to seeing some of the businesses.
All the very best.